So it's coming up now to just over a month until the 88th Academy Awards, the Oscars. Um, and this year it's been a little bit in the headlines more than usual because of the supposed racism, some have alleged that is being displayed. Um, Others have said it's a lack of diversity. I want to touch on this because it's becoming a prominent issue, and I think it's the criticism is misplaced. Spike Lee and Jada Pinkett Smith have now said that they will be boycotting the ceremony because of the lack of black representation. Well, a few things to point out. The host of the ceremony is Chris Rock for the second year that he's done it. He's black. Um, the criticism comes down to the fact that all actors and actresses nominated are white. That is true, they are. The directors, well, there's one Hispanic, Alejandro Inarritu, who's Mexican, directed The Revenant. Um, the criticism in the lack of diversity kind of ignores the fact that there's diversity in other ways. I mean, one of the films that has been shortlisted is about a transgender person, so it can be argued that is representation of the transgender issue, which is becoming more prominent. And the directors aren't all white Americans, or the white people are not all Americans, so they come from a variety of backgrounds. Um, this is my take on it. If there was a track record of the Oscars always having only white actors, only white actresses, I would say, yeah, they definitely have a point here because there is institutional racism. But the thing is, there's no evidence whatsoever that there is institutional racism, given that there have been many years where there has been representation of black actors and actresses. So to suggest that this is somehow racist, I think is completely wrong. Um, Also, I have always been opposed to the principle of filling in quotas just for the sake of it. Now, of course, there's black talent out there. No one is disputing that. But there is a limited amount of people that are nominated. So, what Spike Lee and other critics are ignoring is the fact that the vast majority of white actors have also been left out because you have 10 people, 5 actors, 5 actresses, who are nominated. Um, so, the vast majority of white actors are going to be, overlooked as well. Um, I honestly take it as just chance, and just it happens to be that this year no black actors or black actresses were nominated. But the idea that is somehow racist is ridiculous. If it was a consistent problem, if this was happening every year, then I say, well, okay, maybe there is something in that. But there's no evidence of that. Also, 63% of the United States is white. Okay, so it's a slight majority. Now, the Oscars is an American ceremony. So if the demographics are represented, then that is roughly speaking, you would have one or two black actors. I get that, but it's misleading. I mean, I think they're making a fuss out of nothing, to be quite frank. And I also think it's a case of sour grapes because Spike Lee is obviously been mourning the fact that he wasn't up for Best Director, but you don't hear white directors who weren't nominated complaining about it. Um, so I do think it's partly his ego speaking. Um, Also, someone made a point. I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently, when African actors last year, Idris Elba, and actually Idris Elba is British but of African descent, and others were then put into Hollywood films, he said something about them being overrated. So surely then, if they were nominated this year, would he be keeping the same opinion that he has? I don't know. I just get irritated that there are people who will look for racism in everything. That's exactly what America doesn't need right now. There's no question about it. America does have some serious issues connected with race. But I don't think this problem is going to be solved by bringing the allegation of racism into each and everything. That's the worst sort of political correctness. Um, I mean, why are they overlooking the fact that the host is black? That's not a trivial thing. It's a very prestigious honor, I would have thought, to be able to host an event of this that is, as famous as it is. That's a lot of responsibility, and that's a very prestigious position. So, it's sort of an insult to Chris Rock by ignoring the fact he's a black man and he's got a central role in the ceremony. Um, I just think it's trying to find racism where there is none. Um, Looking at the nominations, I think they're all fine actors and actresses, and I don't see why any of them shouldn't be there. Of course, the argument can be made that there's black actors out there. People have said Richard Johnson, I think the guy's called. He's an up and coming actor for his role in Creed. I haven't seen Creed yet. It's got rave reviews. It's supposed to be very good in that, so people could argue he should be nominated. But then you go on to, well, if he's nominated, then you have to drop someone else, and then that person would be thinking, well, why shouldn't they be nominated? So this really does come down to chance. I really don't think there is institutional racism at play here, and I get a bit irritated. It seems to be very common in the United States that there will always be someone who tries to play the race card, and someone like Spike Lee has a track record of doing this, of always saying, "Oh, it's because I'm black. It's because they're black." I mean, this guy is just seems to enjoy being divisive and just enjoy or revel in trying to divide people. I mean, I really think they're giving credence to something that is not there. Like I say, if this was happening every single year, then definitely they would have a point, and I'd be agreeing with them. I'd be saying, yeah, there's a problem with this. But this is one year, okay, they say second year in a row. But the Oscars is like, it's been going for 88 years. So, and there's been many occasions where black actors have been nominated. And, to suggest that there is inherent racism in this is in my opinion, ridiculous. Let me know your thoughts.